have seen very good presentators who are able to stand out without any slide and have the audience attention. However, there are people like this. These people have a huge routine, and in this kind of presentation, and the topic itself is complex. You can be more persuasive if you are using graphs, numbers, and pictures. There is another important reason why we are recommending the use of presentation. It is the structure. The sequence of the slides is shaping the story you are presenting, and at the same time it helps the audience in understanding, while giving you some help to know what's going to be on the next slide. The case study presentators usually follow similar structures. Of course, it can be changed, but basically it is not worse because it is a well-known and logical structure. You may know the good presentation structures from the elementary school essays as well. Yeah, the three main parts are the same too: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. In the introduction, we talk about what you are going to say in the essay. In the body, we actually elaborate it, and in the conclusion, we say what we intended to say. Probably, I didn't say any new information yet. Of course, the secret is hiding in the details. Let's see what kind of slides you should involve in the different parts to make a good presentation. Let's start from the beginning. The introduction is typically from 3 slides. The first is the cover slide. Here it's worth showing the names and the name of your school, since this is how they are going to recognize you. You should choose a picture which connects to the topic what you are going to talk about, and it gives a visual to the jury as well. The next slide is just mentioned as the story slide. Actually, you can tell an interesting story here which is connected to your presentation, and it gives an interesting flavor. For example, if your grandfather used to tell stories about Caesar's battles when you were a child, you can mention it and as a strong memory from your childhood. You can mention it because you have a strong personal connection to the topic. Or you have seen in a museum with a class recently and you like the contemporary weapons as well. So you know, the point is to show that why the topic is interesting for you and you are connected to it. The third slide of the introduction is the executive summary. The executive summary gives a short and general idea about what you're going to say and what is your proposed solution, so the jury can have questions regarding your solution. The presentation is not like an Agatha Christie novel where the murderer will only be showed in the last page. You have to tell them in the beginning. For example, the solution here was the divide et impera strategy, which means that Caesar has to divide the hostile tribes in Britain, and it has to be stated in the executive summary. Now we can move on to the body part. In the body, the slides are less strictly structured, but we can draw up a general line. This usually follows the situation, options, solutions, and implementation line. Let's start it one by one. The situation part should be imagined as a situation analysis. It involves the analyzing methods, for example, the results of the previously shown SWOT analysis. It is important to focus on the conclusions from the analysis and not to just show it simply. For instance, you should fill the cells of the SWOT at home, but during the presentation you won't have time to read up all of them, so you have to highlight what is important for the strategy. The next part is the options. It includes showing the possible options and presenting your suggested recommendations. It is also important to show the criteria, what you used in the evaluation. Here you can see a sample solution from the winners from the previous international case study competition. They have marked with ticks and crosses which options prefer to be the best solution for Caesar. At the suggested solution part, try to show a bit more detailed that how it is possible to realize this suggestion. Try to answer the who, when, and what questions. This includes introducing the risk too, which you have already heard about in the previous video. With this, we arrive to the third part of the presentation, the conclusion. This is a short section where the goal is to summarize the whole presentation. The best way is to use a frame structure. So in the conclusion, you have to do the introduction again. So you have to show the executive summary, You have to tell the whole strategy again and what is your proposed solution. These repeats may look weird, but this way you can make sure that the jury will remember your solution and they will have an overall view. The other thing which can help is the story. Of course, you don't have to repeat the whole story again, but think about an ending. For example, you can mention that what stories you have heard from your grandfather who had told about it. At the end of the presentation, close it with "Thank you for your attention" by using the cover slide again. So that's all. At the presentation structure, feel free to use other structures as well, for example the last year winner theme. Don't forget, the point is that the slides shouldn't follow each other slavishly, but telling a logical story. Good luck!